It's noon in Kyiv. This is our time. Natalia Sopvid is here in the studio for you, and I'll tell you the main news at this hour right now. New negative records. Russia has launched 818 aerial attack weapons against Ukraine, including 808 drones, 9 cruise missiles from Kandyrka, and 4 ballistic missiles from Kandar MKN-23. This was reported by the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Air Defense Forces shot down and suppressed with electronic warfare 747 Shahid-type UAVs and 4 cruise missiles from Kandyrka. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky responded to the large-scale Russian attack. He expressed his condolences to the families of the victims and added that in Kyiv, ordinary residential buildings were destroyed. In the capital alone, dozens were injured, and the Cabinet of Ministers building was damaged. There is a fire on the upper floors there. Volodymyr Zelensky noted that all necessary services are working on site, and the president of Ukraine also called on partners to fulfill the agreements made in Paris and to maintain sanctions pressure on the Russian Federation.
Such killings now, when real diplomacy could have been in place long ago, are a deliberate crime and a prolongation of the war. Washington has repeatedly stated that refusal to cooperate will result in sanctions. We must implement everything we agreed upon in Paris. We are also counting on the implementation of all agreements to strengthen our air defense. Every additional such system saves civilians from the cynical strikes of the Russians. The world can force the Kremlin criminals to stop killing. All that is needed is political will. Thank you to everyone who is helping. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on Telegram.
So, in Kyiv, the Russians attacked with drones and missiles. It is known that 2 people were killed, a mother and her 2-month-old baby. Another 20 people were injured, according to the city administration. Our correspondent Adrian Matrenko is working at one of the scenes. He will tell us about the consequences of a night attack. Andrei, over to you.
Hello, Natalia. Right now, I am at the site that suffered the most from last night's shelling of Kyiv. Here, a Russian drone hit an 8-story building, damaging floors 8 through 4. Many locals are finding it hard to recover right now. After this, a lot of people here are on edge. Windows have been shattered in many entrances. You could say the whole neighborhood was affected. The apartments closer to the epicenter suffered a bit more. Many cars parked near the building were also damaged. Right now, rescuers together with car owners are helping to clear and remove them. Let's listen to how some of the local residents spent this difficult night. Matt.
Around 5:58, I heard the first explosion somewhere, but I'm very sensitive to sounds. I already heard that there was one explosion, then a muffled one. And I think the third one came with a whistle, like it was heading here, to this building apparently. Or maybe from that side, I don't know. I fell out of bed, covered my head like always. And that's it. Then I heard another explosion. Misha became a son. He was sleeping on that side and jumped out, that's all. But we quickly got dressed and ran out here.
The window frames.
The glass.
In all the rooms. Everything was blown out. They're not letting us in yet. They told us to grab our documents and get out. After that, we'll start clearing things up, cleaning.
The first wave of the attack was roughly between 3 and 5 in the morning. Rescuers have been working here since about 4 a.m. Then the second wave started. The air raid alert went off for the second time, but the rescuers stayed on site anyway. They kept clearing the rubble, searching for people. Just a few hours ago, they put out a fire here that broke out on one of the floors right at the epicenter. Rescue operations are still ongoing. They're still clearing the debris, searching to see if anyone might still be trapped there. According to local authorities, there may still be 2 people under the rubble of this building. Let's listen in detail to what they have to say about the potential consequences at this specific location and at various other sites within the Nev region.
7 people hospitalized.
7 people have been hospitalized. Among them is a pregnant woman. Work is still ongoing. Humanitarian centers have been set up. All those affected are receiving assistance. We are doing everything we can to eliminate the consequences of the attack. Rescuers have contained the fire and continue to clear debris and search for victims, although according to preliminary information, there is likely no one left under the rubble. In addition, in the Svaidoshinsky district, rescuers are extinguishing a fire in a warehouse, and in Pechursk, they are working to eliminate a fire in a government building.
By noon, this area is slowly coming back to life. Many stores are opening, people are going to work, but the local authorities still have a lot to do to deal with the aftermath of what Russia did overnight. According to the city mayor, Vitaly Klitschko,
There are.
reports of damage at 11 locations. We will continue to monitor the situation and report on the elimination of all consequences.
Thank you, Andriy. Let me remind our viewers about the consequences of Russia's attack on Kyiv, as reported by our correspondent Andriy Dmitrenko. This night, Odesa also came under a massive attack by the Russian Federation, with the invaders using drones. As a result of the attack, civilian infrastructure and residential buildings were damaged. Our correspondent Ksenia Satinska is at the scene. Hello, and we're waiting for you to share the details of the attack on Odesa.
I'm currently at one of the locations that was affected by today's Russian attack. By the way, this building and others nearby have suffered from Russian shelling more than once. This place was hit back in March 2024 as well. The sports palace here was also badly damaged, with part of its facade destroyed. Efforts to deal with the aftermath are still ongoing at the site. Unfortunately, this is not the only place in Odesa that was affected by last night's Russian attack. Another residential building was also hit this morning. A huge hole appeared in its facade, and several apartments were completely burned out. Let's now listen to first-hand accounts of how people in this building made it through the night.
Russia, there's no forgiveness for them. Not for a generation, not for several generations. Thank God there were no human casualties in our building. The building was damaged. The apartments were damaged, especially near the windows. Everything in the building was affected. There is a lot of destruction, but people survived.
I'll also add that the drone attack wasn't the only one that night. In the morning, Odesa was attacked by ballistic missiles. In addition, Russian Federation reconnaissance drones continue to operate over the city and the region. Because of them, air raid alerts are periodically announced in the city. That's all the information for now. Back to you.
Thank you, Ksenia. And our correspondent Ksenia Satinskaya reported on the aftermath of Russia's attack on Odesa. That night, Kremenchuk, Dnipro, Kryvyi Rih, and the Kyiv region were also targeted by the Russian Federation. According to Mykola Kalashnik, head of the Kyiv Regional Military Administration, an 18-year-old woman sustained a leg injury in Brovary. She is currently hospitalized. Russia also attacked Kryvyi Rih with drones and missiles. 4 people were injured there. There were confirmed hits. In 3 locations, these were transportation and urban infrastructure sites, as well as residential areas. Dozens of explosions also rocked Kremenchuk. Part of the city is without electricity. In addition, transportation infrastructure was damaged. For this reason, several train routes will follow altered paths. The day before, Russia also attacked Zaporizhia with drones. As a result of the attack, one person was killed, another 17 were injured. A kindergarten, a residential building, and businesses were damaged. Several fires broke out, and in just one day, the Russian Federation shelled 17 settlements in the region more than 500 times. This was reported by the head of the Regional Military Administration, Ivan Fedorov. According to him, the Russian occupiers carried out 5 airstrikes. They used artillery, drones, and MLRS. There were 25 reports of damage to private houses, apartments, and outbuildings, but no injuries were reported. As a result of an airstrike by the Russian armed forces on Sumy region the day before, a civilian was killed. Another 7 people were injured. Among them was a 9-year-old child, according to the Regional Military Administration. The wounded have been hospitalized and are receiving medical assistance. Russian anti-personnel mines were discovered at 2 locations in Kherson. This was reported by the City Military Administration. This is not the first such incident. Civilians are being asked to refrain from moving through the specified area. According to authorities, Russian troops are scattering mines throughout the city remotely. A few days ago, in the Dniprovsky district of Kherson, a teenager was injured by a Letostok-type mine. He was hospitalized in moderate condition. The Kremlin dictator Putin may decide to launch a new mobilization in Russia. This was stated by the head of the main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, Kyiv, Budanov, in an interview with Ostrov TV. According to him, the threat is quite real, even though an additional draft would be painful for the Russian Federation. But it is possible. Moreover, by 2030, Russia could attack Europe. Russia is preparing its largest rearmament program since the 1980s. They are planning and will carry it out, Budanov noted, adding, Europe is aware of the Russians' plans and is preparing.
A broad program for the development of the arms industry is currently being prepared. Essentially, this is the rearmament of the Russian Federation plan until 2037. The most intensive phase is scheduled until 2030. This is the largest program since the 1980s. It already includes an amount of about $1.2 trillion, solely for rearmament. And this is not the budget of the Russian Ministry of Defense, but only the funds allocated for the modernization and rearmament program. These are serious programs and serious amounts of money. Kyiv Budanov, head of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in an interview with Ostrov TV.
Subscribe to The Gaze and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.